Okay, so another little thing I want to do, and just putting an ad on here, because I always really like to do this thing before I show anyone animation. I'm just going to create polygon cube, and my cube is small. Just going to go here to display grid, and I'll just reset it, edit, reset settings, and apply close. And I'll hit F, so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. Okay, so I got this cube, and I'm just going to take the cube and I'll go and hold down D and V, and I'm going to move its pivot point to the bottom. I'll hold down X and I'll snap it up so it's standing on the grid here. Just going to freeze its transforms, and I'm just going to delete its history. Wonderful. Okay, and we got 1 to 120. Sure. Actually, let's change this here, the little time slider. Let's change that to, say, 60. Okay, time slider, and then we got the actual time that we got on our scene. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to hold down X, and that's going to snap it. I'm going to pull it back this way in, actually, meant to do it the other way. X, I'm going to put it back here in the Z direction. Okay, Z direction is kind of like your forward direction. The X is kind of your side. That's why I switched that. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to set a keyframe. I can just go and hit S, and that'll set a keyframe. Okay, and I set a keyframe on my translates, rotates, and scales, and visibility. Now I'm going to go to frame 60. I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull it across here, and I'll hit S. Okay, and let's press play and see what happens. Okay, so everything seems to be okay. Actually, you know what? I think I've got a problem here. Let's just get rid of the keyframes for a minute. I'm just going to go here to the first frame. If I hold down Shift and I double click, or actually let's do it this way. Right, I'm going to highlight everything, right click, and I'll hit delete selected. Gets rid of all my keyframes quickly. And I'm just going to go here to the preferences, and in the preferences there is a section for settings animation, and by default it's on auto. Okay, oops, auto. And what else do you need to know about this? And by default in the time slider you'll see it's on play every frame, and I'll just hit save. And so now when I press play, you see the time slider moves really, really fast. When I'm on frame 1, I hit S, and I go to frame 60, and I grab this beast, and I hold down X, and I snap it over here, and I press S. When I press play, I get this. Okay, so we got a problem here. This is going way too fast. I can't really tell what's going on. So I'm going to go back here, and I can change the playback settings. Okay, playback speed onto real time. Okay, and that'll slow it down. And then the next thing I notice is it kind of starts off slow, speeds up, and then slows down. Okay, and this is not really what I want. I don't know, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm going to open up the graph editor under Window, Animation Editors, Graph Editor. Just going to remove that one. There, and that'll open up the graph editor, and if I have the object selected, I can see what's happening here with the keyframes. A flat line indicates that there's no real animation happening. Okay, and you can see that all these things got highlighted in here, except for Translate Z. That's this one, where it's moving along the Z axis, and there's animation on it. And there's a little bit of a curve on this. I'm just going to select these ones, and by the way, depending upon the version you're on, you can grab across the line that'll select the keyframes on either side of it and then press delete. There was a version where of Maya where you had to hold down a hotkey to actually do that, and I can't remember if it was Control or Shift now. Anyway, it's annoying. But anyway, we've got this, and I've got this curve selected. There's some little icons up here that can kind of show you different ways that you can display this curve. Okay, there's the spline, so this is an automatic spline, clamp, linear. Let's zoom out a bit so you can actually see there's something changed there. The linear goes flat on either side, as does this, but then it changes the curve. And in this case, automatic and flat are kind of the same thing. I always find flat annoying. And then this one here is the step tangents, and then there's plateau tangents. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is put it on this one. And so when I change that to spline, I get a straight line. When I press play, it's at a constant speed. It hits the ground running. It never changes the speed, okay, at all. And here, I'm going to move this over. That's annoying. That's taking up too much space. There. And I'm just going to stop this for a second. I'm going to go to the first frame. You've got your little DVD controllers down here. You can go that to your first frame. This one goes back frames. Okay, this will go to keyframes. This one plays it backwards. This plays it forwards. This one goes to the next keyframe. And that one goes up one frame at a time. That goes to the very last frame. It's going to go to the first frame. And I am just going to take this cube, and I'm going to make a duplicube. And I'll hold down X so I can knock it over to, say, 3 units. Right? Each grid line here represents 3 units, or 3 centimeters. And I'll hold down Shift, and I'll hit D, and that'll give me a duplicate with a transform. Here I'll have like 6 different ones. Okay, I'm going to grab all these things, and at frame 1 here, I'm just going to hit S, frame 60. I'll hold down X, and I'll move them forward so they're all lined up, and I'll hit S. Okay, and you can kind of see when I did that, it gave me animation on all these other channels here that I don't need. I'm just going to select those and hit delete. And now we can see I've got all the animation for just the Z-axis here that I can kind of see on each cube. So, got this first one. I've changed that to spline. I'll take this one, and clamped, you're really not going to see anything in clamped. What clamped does, it gives you spline except when 2 keyframes are identical. Okay, so it's not going to really do anything here. Which one is next? This one here is the flat one. You're not going to see anything on this one. One second. Oh, that's clamped. There's linear. And linear, if I have the keyframe selected, you'll see that it goes in and kind of breaks them right here and gives you a little kink, so they kind of flatten out. So it kind of hit that line and go straight this way. And then there's flat, which just makes the tangents flat. The little Bezier handles flat on the keyframes, and I don't like it. And then there's stepped one, where basically if I go and I press play right now, let's go to the first frame. When I press play, this one stays there in that one spot until the very end, and then pops. And you see it pop there. Okay, if I gave that a few more frames, you'd start to see that they actually all end up in the same place at the same time. Okay, now, next thing. Let's actually grab all these at once, and I'll go to the first frame, and I'll grab all their curves, and I'm just going to make that spline. Okay, and let's start with this one. Now if I grab this keyframe, there's a little Bezier handle here. Okay, now right now they all have a constant speed. If I take the Bezier handle and I do this, I'm middle clicking, by the way. I've selected the handle, or I've selected the keyframe, then I selected the handle with my left click, and I middle click to move it around. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to make it so at the beginning it starts off slow, then it speeds up. You can see that if I look at it from above, it's going slower than the rest and catches up and finishes at the same time. Okay, let's try it again. Let's grab this one. And I'll grab that keyframe, and I'll grab that Bezier handle, and I'm going to take the Bezier handle and do this. Okay, so now when I press play, that one shoots out ahead, but slows right down so it finishes at the exact same time as the rest of them, because I'm flattening the tangent. So basically what you start to realize is that the flatter this is in places, the slower it goes, right? Because it's slowing down at the end. This one was slowing down at the beginning and caught up. If I do the same thing, if I grab this one, let's take this Bezier handle, let's do this. And you can see that arc is going to get a little bit gnarly. Okay, and actually, yeah, if I keep doing this, let's go back here and press play. It's going to go super fast and slow right down. And even went a little bit backwards. This one kind of looks like it kind of curves around. If I went and I did this, for sure it's going to look like it goes backwards. Try it again. Boop, shoots ahead, goes forward a little bit and back. Okay, so let's just bring that back just a little bit. I might even take this one here and do something like that. And now you're going to see shoots really fast and slows right down. Okay, let's grab the other one. and I'll do something like this. I'm going to grab this one. Let's Bezier it this way. Grab this, and I'm going to go this way. It starts off super, super slow, and then accelerates, poof, finishes at the end. You even start to tell your own story with the cubes. Okay, so that's a big one on how those curves work. When I got 10 minutes of this. And you can do a few different things with that. Let's just do one more crazy example. Let's take this cube, and I'm going to make a duplicate. And I'll take the duplicate, and I'm going to hold down X, and let's put it, say, right there. I'm putting it on the X-axis. And I'm going to hold down X, and I'll pop it up a little bit. Okay. And let's look at this from, let's see, I want to look at this from the, let's do the front view, just to make it easier. Actually, I'm going to hold down X, I'm going to put it there. And I might, actually, I'm going to center the pivot on this one. I'm going to hold down X and snap it right there. And I'm just going to freeze that out, so freeze transformations. Okay, and freeze transformations just zeroes out the translates and rotates, and the scale value is great. On frame 1, I'm going to take the value for the y-axis, which is up and down, and this is, the x is side to side. So x and y, I'm going to right-click and key select it. So I just put in keyframes just on those two values. I'll do something like go up to, say, frame 20, and I'm going to take this cube and I'm going to hold down X. Let's go up directly like this. Let's say 5 units. Okay, I'm going to right-click, key selected. Now let's just check this out. So when I go to the first frame and I press play, it's going in a straight line. Okay, and the cubes are doing things. They're moving around a little bit. You can actually see them popping right here and here because they're going across the grid. But this is going in a straight line here. Let's go into the graph editor for a second. I'm just going to move this over so you can see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, and I'm going to go to View. I'll put on View Infinity so you can kind of see the curves. The curves flatline, so there's no animation on them. After the timeline is done, or the 1 to 20 is done, it goes to a flat line, so there's no animation. Okay. What I want to do, grab these curves. I'm going to go to Curves, Post Infinity. I'm going to go Oscillate. That's kind of like a cycle, so it's oscillating. Okay, and so you start to see this behavior going back and forth. Okay, and it's easing in and easing out because we started off with the automatic keyframe. If I went to this, not the clamp, this one here, the spline. Okay, we see it kind of going back and forth at a consistent speed. Same thing would happen with linear. Okay, but I'm going to go with automatic, or I could even use flat in this case here, but I never use flat. Oh, that's not the one I meant. Flat. Okay, they're both going to give me the same result in this case. So now, right now, I can go in here and I can take the translate Y. Let's take this out of the scene. I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit mute selected. Okay, and then when I do that, we're just moving back and forth on the x-axis. You can see the x-axis here, side to side on the x. Okay, that's interesting. Let's right-click on that and unmute all. Go to the x-axis. Let's be on frame 1 when I do this. Right-click, and I'll go in and I'll mute selected. Now you see when I press play, it just goes up and down because it's going up and down the y-axis. I've muted out the x. So at the same time, this one is keyframe to go from up and down. It's also keyframe to go to side, and that gives it a diagonal. Okay, and the crazy thing that you can do, let's just go in here, right click, unmute all, is if I were to go in here and I was to grab this curve, okay, both these curves, I'll just hit F so you can frame them a little bit so you can see what the hell I'm doing. I'm just going to grab the Y. I did that automatic update where it moves it, and I hate that too. I'm just going to grab this keyframe and I'll put my time slider right here at, say, frame 10. Okay, so I can see it, this line. If I have this selected and I have the move tool on, when I hold down shift and I middle click, I can go side to side. And I'm going to offset it by 5. Okay? When I do that, when I press play, I'm going to get a perfect orbit. Okay, so I can go into a perfect circle. just to blow your mind, just with 2 translations, just 2 movements, if I start playing with these curves, I can do crazy things with it. And I just hope somehow, let's go when I do this, here's that one cube that just circles around us as we're running across that field. Yeah, I'm hoping this helps you make a little bit of sense out of what you can do with animation. Probably this last one here always breaks your brain. This is a Martin Leroux again. And it was just like, oh, that makes so much sense. But anyway, anything else I want to do here? I'm going to stop here.